Caitlin Clark hasn't just joined the WNBA, she's made a huge impact right out of the gate. With all eyes on her and pressure from every angle, she hasn't just lived up to the hype, she's gone beyond it. In just a few months, Clark has shattered rookie expectations. She's breaking records, energizing a struggling team, and helping spark a major comeback for women's basketball. People of all ages are tuning in, and new fans are showing up every day. This isn't just a good start, it's a moment that's changing the game. Even her critics are starting to change their tune. From sports reporters and former players to online skeptics, more and more people are giving her the respect she's earned. One of her most surprising supporters? Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, known for his big personality and bold opinions on Inside the NBA, has always backed the women's game, especially Angel Reese, his fellow LSU alum. He's followed her career closely, especially after her famous face-off with Clark in the 2023 NCAA title game. At one point, he even called Reese the best player to ever come out of LSU, above himself and basketball legend Pistol Pete Maravich. Even Angel was surprised by that, but as Caitlin Clark continues to shine in the WNBA and raise the profile of the entire league, even Shaq seems to be reconsidering what greatness really looks like.
Yeah, Shaq told me that I was the best player to come out of LSU. It puts a lot of pressure on me, and I feel like I haven't done anything.
Shaquille O'Neal once gave Angel Reese one of the highest compliments possible, calling her the greatest player to ever come out of LSU. For Reese, that was a huge honor, but also a big responsibility. And she didn't just rise to the challenge, she made history. While LSU legends like Shaq and Pistol Pete Maravich made the school famous, it was Reese who delivered its first-ever NCAA basketball championship. That win, along with the new NIL era in college sports, launched her into the spotlight. Before even finishing college, Reese landed a major shoe deal, not with Nike or Adidas, but with Reebok. It was a bold choice. Reebok is working to rebuild its brand, and leading that charge in basketball? Shaq himself. Their partnership became more than just business. With Shaq mentoring her, Reese is gaining more than sponsorships. She's getting real guidance. He's helping her navigate life as a rising star, sharing lessons from his own career, both the highs and the mistakes. Shaq's support isn't new. He's been behind Reese for years. Now he's helping her build something bigger, a future in basketball and beyond, with staying power.
Just, telling her how to handle adversity, how to handle, controversy. And, with a person like her, you don't really want to come and say, do this and do that. I was just coming and, giving her encouraging words, just telling her, to hang in there.
Reese may be new to the WNBA, but she's had one major supporter from the start, Shaquille O'Neal. From her college days at LSU to her first pro games, Shaq has been in her corner, praising her potential long before she turned pro. He's always backed women's basketball, but with Reese, it's personal. He's shown up courtside at Chicago Sky games, cheered her on like a proud mentor, and worked alongside her at Reebok, where she's a rising star and he leads the basketball division. That's why his latest comments raised eyebrows. After a high-profile game between Reese and Caitlin Clark, won convincingly by Clark's Indiana Fever, Shaq's tone noticeably shifted. Still respectful, still supportive, but more reflective. "She does everything right," he said about Clark. Then came the line that got everyone talking, "Angel is my girl, but I can truthfully say, Caitlin Clark is for real." Coming from someone who's played alongside legends like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, that kind of praise means something. Shaq went on to say, "Clark makes smart choices, stays calm under pressure, and consistently delivers. She's the real deal," he added. A great one. Shaq hasn't turned his back on Angel Reese. Not at all. But even he recognizes that Caitlin Clark is making a serious mark on the league, bringing talent, focus, and a game style that's winning over fans and pros alike. This wasn't just another compliment, it felt like a turning point. When Shaquille O'Neal, someone deeply connected to Angel Reese both personally and professionally, publicly called Caitlin Clark the real deal, it signaled more than respect. It suggested a shift in how the entire sports world views Clark's impact. From the beginning, it was clear Caitlin Clark would bring major attention to the WNBA. She made women's college basketball a primetime event, selling out arenas, boosting TV ratings, and pulling in fans who'd never followed the game before. The only question was, could she do the same in the pros? The answer? Absolutely. And immediately. The Caitlin Clark effect didn't take time to build. It arrived full force. Not only did her fans follow her to the WNBA, they grew in numbers. The spotlight didn't fade when she turned pro. It got brighter. The numbers say it all. All 12 of the most-watched WNBA games in 2024 featured Clark's team, the Indiana Fever, drawing between 1, 2, and 2. 3 million viewers per game. That's not just strong, it's record-breaking. For context, the average NBA game last season pulled in about 56 million viewers. And the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, led in part by Clark's presence, reached 4 million viewers, the highest since the league's debut season back in 1997. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the WNBA's future, she's shaping it. And now that even longtime supporters of her rivals are giving her credit, there's no denying it. She's not just in the league, she's changing. The Caitlin Clark isn't just changing how the game is played, she's changing the numbers behind it. In 2023, the Indiana Fever were playing in front of crowds of around 4,000 people. Now, they lead the entire WNBA in attendance, with nearly 107,000 fans showing up so far this season. That's not just a rise, it's a full-on surge. And with more fans comes more money for the league. But Clark's impact goes way beyond the court. She's helping sell out arenas, boost TV ratings, bring in new sponsors, and build long-term growth for women's basketball. While she racks up points and awards, she's also strengthening the WNBA's bottom line. And one person definitely paying attention? Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, Shaq is a Hall of Famer and a familiar face on TV. But he's also a smart investor. He's made a career out of knowing where to put his money next. And when it comes to Caitlin Clark, he sees more than just talent. He sees potential for something even bigger. Shaq understands that today's stars aren't just athletes. They're brands. They're business. And Clark checks all the boxes: talent, reach, and serious market value. She's not just bringing in fans, she's helping reshape the business of women's sports. So when Shaq talks about teaming up with the game's biggest names, he's doing more than cheering from the sidelines. He's thinking like the businessman he's always been. And in Caitlin Clark, he sees a future that's not just bright, it's built
To start a business. The way I learned business was a gentleman gave me a book, The Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. When I was reading it, wasn't familiar with anything, but it was a chapter that really piqued my interest. Joint venture.
Voice, let's be honest. If you're still doubting Caitlin Clark, you're running out of ground to stand on. She's playing like a true MVP, helping turn a struggling Indiana Fever team into a playoff contender and driving them to the top of the WNBA's revenue charts. Clark isn't just the league's best rookie. She's the engine behind her team's rise, and the results are starting to show. That's why the early critics are going quiet. The same voices that once questioned whether she could handle the pros, or claimed Angel Reese was the better pick, are either walking back their takes or staying silent. Why? Because ignoring Caitlin Clark's impact isn't just unpopular now, it's factually wrong. And in today's social media world, that kind of take doesn't last long. We're seeing a clear shift. Sports media, analysts, even some of her harshest early doubters are starting to agree. Caitlin Clark hasn't just lived up to expectations. She's blown right past them. Other than a few die-hard skeptics, most now see what's obvious. Women's basketball has a new superstar, and she's breaking every old stereotype along the way. After setting college basketball on fire, Clark has stepped up again, now drawing national attention in the pros. Women's basketball isn't the underdog anymore. It's primetime viewing. Even other major sports are starting to take notice. Look at what happened in early September. The NFL aired its first-ever game in Brazil, right as the Indiana Fever tipped off. On paper, the NFL should have won the ratings battle. But in reality, Caitlin Clark and the Fever stole the spotlight. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, said it best, only a fool would watch the NFL over Caitlin Clark and the Fever right now. It's poetry in motion. It's art. It's beauty. Makes me want to cry tears of joy watching them.